Hi, friend, and welcome to Tidy the Clutter podcast. I'm Mariah, and I'm so glad you're here. This is the place where we talk about real-life ways to simplify your home and digital spaces. Let's face it, life gets busy real quick. Between work, kids, emails, and everything else on your plate, it's easy to feel like things are slipping through the cracks. The good news, it doesn't have to stay that way. In each episode, I'll be sharing practical tips, small wins, and simple strategies to help you clear the clutter, both in your physical and digital spaces. You can feel more in control and have more time for what truly matters most to you. Whether it's setting up routines that stick, taming your inbox, or tackling toy chaos, my goal is to make getting organized doable, even on your busiest days. So, grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's get started. Hi, friend. I hope you are doing well and had a wonderful Thanksgiving last week. Today, we're going to be diving into our workspaces and exploring why they play such a big role on our focus and our productivity. Whether it's the kitchen table doubling as a desk, an office corner that's completely out of control, that's where I feel, my friends, or digital files piling up as soon as you log in. The clutter in our workspaces affects how we feel and function. So in today's episode, we'll go over actionable tips to help you create a workspace that feels open, organized, and calming no matter how busy life gets. From managing paper piles to taming digital clutter, I will be walking you through how to create a setup that makes it easier to sit down and actually focus on the work at hand. Plus, I've got a few tips for keeping your desk clutter-free daily or even weekly so the mess doesn't build up, which is always nice, right? And if you love the feeling of a tidy digital space, you might enjoy my 15-minute digital declutter checklist. It's perfect for a quick reset and keeps your digital world just as organized as your physical space. You can grab it in today's show notes at tidytheclutter.com/007. Now, I've got a question for you. Did you know that clutter has a surprising impact on our emotions? I know. I need that sound. What is that silly sound that's like tut-tut, or something like that? Anyway, I need that sound because it's like, yeah, Mariah, I need that. Where have you been? Well, when we sit down to work and we see piles of paper or tangled cords or a desktop full of files, it's like a mental weight that pulls us down before we even get started for our day. And it's not just visual clutter. It's the invisible stress that comes with it. In fact, there's a study by Princeton University that found that physical clutter in our surroundings can compete for our attention. How weird is that, right? Inanimate objects competing for our attention. But this leads to a decreased focus and increased stress levels. They actually noted in the study that clutter makes it harder to concentrate because our brains are trying to process and there's too much going on at one time. Imagine walking into a cluttered kitchen, right? Where every counter is full of random items. It's hard to know where to start, right? It's like, do I do this one or do I do the one by the sink? I don't know. What should I start with? The same feeling applies to your workspace. Honestly, when your desk is covered with piles of paper or random office supplies, it sends a signal to your brain that there's more to do and to even organize before you begin your work. Which, come on, how stressful is that? It's like, ugh, okay, I can't even focus on my work because there's just too much going on. Almost all of us go through that. The same feeling applies to your workspace. So when your desk is covered with piles of paper or random office supplies, it sends signals to your brain that there's more to do and organize before you can even start. Taking a few minutes to clear off surfaces each day will actually reduce that mental clutter and make your workspace feel more welcoming. I mean, We kind of need to be welcomed by our workspace, right? We touched on the benefits of small, manageable routines in episode 005, which can actually help here too. Instead of waiting until your desk is a full on disaster, try setting aside just a few minutes each day to maintain order. Even small daily or even weekly resets, which we'll cover later, can make a big difference in how you feel when you sit down to work. I think that's amazing. So let's start off with paper, right? Because even though I love trees, don't get me wrong here, but paper just comes. It comes in the mail. It just randomly comes. You have to print off the document and sign it because somebody won't accept an e-signature. Anyway, just random paper is on our desks, right? And somehow it always piles up. One of the best ways to keep it under control is to set up a simple system so that it doesn't just sit there and take up space. I'm going to share a 3-step system that's super easy to set up. First, sort as you go. Have 3 labeled trays or 3 folders, one to do, to file, and to toss. Now, each time you get papers, sort them right away so nothing sits on your desk without a purpose. I think that is the key to step 1. Don't let it sit there without a purpose. So put it in one of those folders or the trays. Step 2, if you don't need a hard copy, snap a photo of it on your phone, on your iPad, on the tablet, or scan it into the computer. And this reduces paper clutter and helps keep important documents accessible without taking up desk space. This actually reduces your paper clutter and it keeps important documents accessible without taking up your desk space. Now, the third one is choose a day each week to clear out the trays or the folders. File the things that you need and toss anything that's no longer relevant. So you're kind of going throughout the week. Let's say, for example, Monday. Monday is the day you get all your paper. You're like, great, I'm going to file it into these 3 different categories. And then let's say Friday, it's way more calm. You have time to actionize those folders. So you can toss the stuff you don't need anymore. You can scan the things that you don't need a physical copy of, so you can find them later on. Now, for all those other little things, pens, sticky notes, random chargers that you're kind of questioning what the heck does it even charge, try using drawer organizers or just small containers from like the dollar store. Keep only essentials within reach and store anything you don't use daily in a drawer. With a simple system like this, your workspace stays organized without needing a major cleanup. If managing both your physical and digital spaces sounds like honestly a dream, I really think you'll enjoy the 15-minute digital declutter checklist. It's packed with quick tips to clear out your inbox, organize files, and get your digital space as clutter-free as your desk. And honestly, it's perfect for when you're short on time. You can grab it inside today's show notes at tidytheclutter.com/007. One of the easiest ways to keep your workspace tidy is to build a daily or weekly reset habit. It doesn't have to be complicated. Stay with me because I know some of you are like, oh, yuck. That sounds disgusting. I don't want to do that. And I promise it doesn't have to be complicated. Just a quick check-in to clear the clutter. So here's a simple routine you can try. At the end of each day, spend 2 or 3 minutes putting away loose items, tossing out the trash, and placing papers in their correct folder or the trays that we talked about a little bit earlier. This small effort will make a big difference when you start work the next morning. Then, once a week, take a few extra minutes to wipe down your desk, file the important papers, scan the important papers, then toss the papers that you don't need anymore, and organize your supplies. If you're like me and have a billion pens and don't know why, it's okay. We don't have to question it. But if you're like me and have a million bins, sometimes you need to organize those because all of a sudden you've got a ton out, and that's fine. Just once a week, take a few minutes, wipe down the desk, file the papers, organize the supplies. Simple as that. This weekly refresh keeps everything in check and helps make decluttering feel like, honestly, second nature. Now, think of the daily reset kind of like brushing your teeth. It's a quick way to freshen things up each day. One trick is to set a reminder on your phone for a specific time, like right before you finish work. Use those 2 or 3 minutes to put pens back in their holder, stack papers neatly, and even toss any snack wrappers or coffee cups or just any garbage, really. This way, you can start the next day with a fresh perspective and your desk is clean. Like, how nice is that? With these small resets, clutter won't have a chance to pile up. You'll be greeted by a clean, organized workspace every single time you sit down to work. We can't forget about digital clutter. It's just as distracting as physical clutter. A cluttered inbox, a crowded desktop, and even an unorganized file can make it really difficult to focus and even harder to find what the heck you're looking for. There isn't a rule that states managing digital clutter has to be time-consuming and overwhelming. Honestly, start by creating a simple folder structure that makes sense for you. Maybe you have general folders on your desktop like work, personal, and projects, with a few subfolders inside each. This way, everything has a home on your desktop, and you can easily find files without cluttering up your entire desktop. Let's say you have a habit of saving everything to your desktop when you're in a rush. You could create a to organize folder on your desktop as a temporary landing zone for all the files you download in a rush. Then, during your weekly digital cleanup, take 5 minutes to go through that folder, placing files where they belong. And this will keep your desktop clean, but still gives you a way to stay organized when you're short on time. Well, once a week, take a few minutes to clear your desktop by filing away those loose items if you didn't implement a to organize folder. Then you can also delete what you don't need anymore. Because sometimes it's a simple, oh, I need to screenshot this really quick and then send it off. But then as the day goes, we don't delete that screenshot because we don't think about it again. This digital reset is a perfect time to do that. We all get emails. Some we love, some we hate. Some we're like, how the heck did you get my email address? I'm so confused. But anyway, set up folders for different types of messages, like important, later, kids, archived, something that is clear for you and makes sense. And then clear out your inbox without losing track of anything essential. Having a clear inbox isn't about reaching zero. I feel like there is a negative connotation that if your inbox is not at zero, boo, what are you doing? You're not working. However, in my mind, clearing your inbox doesn't necessarily mean you have to reach zero. It's about knowing where everything is and keeping only the urgent stuff front and center. By taking a few minutes to organize your digital space each week, you'll save time searching and feel more in control. A tidy digital workspace means fewer distractions and more focus, which, in return, makes getting work done that much easier. Workspace clutter, whether it's physical or digital, can really weigh us down. But by taking a few minutes each day or each week to keep things in order, you can have a workspace that feels calm, inviting, and really ready for productivity. I hope these tips help you find a fresh start in your workspace. And if you found today's episode helpful, why not share it with a friend or a family member? Or if you are feeling a little cheeky, you can share it with your workspace buddy, dropping them a kind yet simple hint of, girl, your workspace needs some help. If digital clutter is part of your challenge, once again, my 15-minute digital declutter checklist is a great place to start. It's designed to help you take control of your inbox, files, and desktop with quick, manageable steps, and you can download it for free just by following today's link which is tidytheclutter.com/007. Next week, we'll be diving into a step-by-step process for organizing any space in your home, whether it's the closet, the kitchen, or a digital space. I'll share simple, practical tips that make it easy to get started. Until then, take care, friend. I'll chat with you soon. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Tidy the Clutter podcast. I hope you're leaving today with at least one small step that you're excited to take. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about finding what works for you and building on it little by little. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love it if you'd give the podcast a follow and leave a quick review. It really helps others find the show and join us on this journey toward less stress and more ease. And if you're looking for more tips, resources, or just a bit of extra motivation, head over to tidytheclutter.com, and everything you need to stay organized and feel more in control is waiting for you there. Until next time, keep things simple, stay focused, and enjoy those small wins along the way. Take care and talk soon.